6:35, Awake with Jake. Get up, everybody. It's Saturday morning. I'll be here until 7 o'clock, just getting you going on a Saturday. Then at noontime, it's time for Hate Radio with Bruce and Dan. Hate Saturday, I think Bruce calls it. And he delivers, doesn't he? And Eddie and Jobo right after them at 2 o'clock for 1 hour. Then Chet Kopic, the Notre Dame pregame show, I believe, is on at 4:30 today. 4:30 or 5:30 today. And then the Notre Dame plays Southern Cal tonight right here on WLS. 591-8900 is the phone number. Mark in Chicago, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing. What's up?
I'm waiting for that third hour to come. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
We almost had it at 4 o'clock today.
There you go.
Anyway.
Years ago when I got out of the Army, I used to go to Santa Fe Speedway, and I can remember they would give out free samples of Winston cigarettes. I had the pleasure of seeing Yvonne Duhamel win a race at Santa Fe Speedway. I think it was really good. And recently I was surprised to hear on the news that Anheuser-Busch was also giving away free samples of their beer to say, you know what, try our beer and compare it to other beers that you're drinking, and we have a great beer. Now the rumor has it that the marijuana dealers now are offering free junk food with every order, which is really great because Twinkies and Ho-Hos and Hostess cupcakes. I really like the cupcakes. But
it's good for the economy,
and it's a safety. It's really a safety item because you don't have to drive under the influence. You can have the complete package. You have your marijuana, you have your junk food, and you just go home and you turn on TV, and you're all set. And there you go. That's how bad the economy is.
Well, you know what I don't understand? In California and other states, I guess they're going to medical marijuana, and it's becoming a huge industry out there.
Yes.
And
you know what? It's legal, and then again, it's not legal. I've heard that a friend of mine has two sons that went to marijuana to try to start up a business, and they were in fear that they were going to legalize it because that would kind of kill the medical marijuana part. But they in some areas they raided them and arrested them, and in some areas they said it was okay. And I guess it was dependent on what kind of doctor's prescription that you had for if they checked you out, did you really have a condition? And basically, my condition is that I'm not high enough is my problem, and that can really bother you after a while.
So that's a legitimate condition out in California, but you have that, and then you've got the story you heard this morning with Willie Nelson.
Can you believe that? His
tour bus is going through a checkpoint, and somebody smells okay. That and Willie, just got arrested, 6 ounces?
Yeah, isn't that a pretty minor offense?
And all the illegal aliens on the bus, they just let go.
Say what?
No, I'm just joking about that.
Yeah.
There were no illegals on the bus.
The funny thing, too, is Bill on the Bill Maher show, he openly says that he smokes marijuana, but he says that he does it in areas that are legal, and I don't know what areas in California. There must be some areas in California that are legal, or he's got a prescription for the medical marijuana. But I'd be interested to try the medical marijuana and see what the quality is, if they have your various strengths, or if it's just like a standard marijuana. But it's you know what? It's definitely coming because the economy is not getting any better, and if they made it legal and taxed it, they could generate a tremendous amount of money out of that.
Well, yeah, if taxes involved, they'll do it. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Take care.
To see what condition my condition was in.
Oh. Yeah. Russ and Berwyn. Good morning, Russ.
Hey, good morning, Jake, and a happy prelated birthday.
Thank you.
Last week we enjoyed the show. I couldn't get in about all the fun facts of football at Wrigley.
Oh, that was, I'm glad you that was like years ago. That turned out to be a very entertaining game last week.
Yeah, it did. I even got around that, switching to fields and everything. But I wanted to mention a couple things that were not brought up that maybe, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you've ever been in Wrigley Field for a football game. I have, and I can't remember, as far as the point after touchdown and then field goals, kicking on the left field wall. I can't remember if they had a screen up there to catch the footballs like they do now in the big stadiums.
Well, I would imagine George Halas they did.
Well, I wanted to verify if any of the other listeners know this. Is there any truth to the rumor that he had a couple guys out there wearing bear jackets that said staff on the back, football helmets, and walkie-talkies waiting to catch the ball? I was just curious if that was...
I would imagine he did. Footballs are expensive.
Well, he used to throw them around like manhole covers, so... the other thing was the padding on the wall. They had no padding on that left field wall. And my grandfather told me there was a guy named Henry Sprinkle, or Ed Sprinkle, wore number 7 back in the 40s. He used to hit that wall regularly on pass routes in the games. And I asked my grandfather, he said, did he get seriously hurt? And Gramps said, no, he probably shortened his career, though.
Yeah, the wall's still there.
Yeah,
right.
And they didn't pad it, and that little access gate, that metal access gate, the iron gate that opens up for the vehicles, they didn't paint it green to blend in either. They let it brown because when the ivy died, then it blended in with the brick. So the guy didn't know it was there.
Yeah, Wrigley was a dump 30 years ago.
Well,
it still kind of is.
But I know. They also had the stands up there. They brought in them old bleacher stands that you see in high school. They brought them in and ran them in short center field to the first baseline, and they actually expanded the capacity because last week we're talking about they sold all the seats around, and a lot of them were crappy and far away, but yet when they brought those bleacher seats in, they actually expanded the capacity to like just over 40,000.
Yeah, but they had to get out of there because I guess the NFL wanted them to have every NFL team had to have at least 50,000 seats.
Right, and
they had to get out of there.
And talking about getting out of Wrigley, what I wanted to tell you was years ago, about 30 years ago, Bill Veeck wrote an article for a consumer magazine about moving Wrigley Field to Iowa and playing the games out there. And I don't know if it was going to be rebuild Wrigley in a replica or move it brick by brick. But, Bill Veeck was a pretty inventive guy, and he was kind of crazy.
Well, maybe for that Field of Dreams thing. Didn't the movie come out, what was it, 20 years ago? Something like that? If they would have torn Wrigley down and built it somewhere, rebuilt in the suburbs, it would have been better off some years ago. Now they're stuck with it where they are because it's become this big place to have fun, have a party. The ivy, the beer, and a lot of women. Now, is that an uplifting call or a down call? Because they're trying to keep it uplifting this morning. Russ in Park Ridge. Good morning, Russ. Welcome to the show.
Yes, what I'd like to say is my daughter was a big advocate of pit bull dogs, right?
Yeah.
She gets a pit bull dog. I got a German Shepherd. I says, the German Shepherd's the best dog on the planet.
Because they're German.
They're
very efficient.
Oh.
When they go out in the morning, they do number 1, number 2 in no time. Because they're efficient. They're German.
How about the law enforcement agencies use them as a major ingredient? However, she gets the pit bull. I says, what the hell's wrong with you getting a stupid pit bull? She's had it for 7 years, right? Mm-hmm. 2 of them, her and her boyfriend, right? They're in California. They're pot-smoking wackos, right? Oh, it's how you treat the dog. Well, I'm sorry to say, it ripped half her arm off. No, it just kind of did a little damage to her, and her boyfriend intervened, tried to hurt the jaws off of the pit bull off her arm, this and that, and then he went to teach the dog a lesson, and they both wound up in the hospital.
Now, did she get stitches?
She didn't. She just got kind of like teeth marks, but his whole forearm was ripped open massively.
How many stitches did he get?
He don't even have them because it was so bad to where they couldn't do anything. They put a cast on the one part, and then he's got to go Monday to a surgeon. And they don't have health care. They don't have any insurance, this and that.
We have Obamacare now.
Well, yeah, that was all covered there. But, however, I warned them people. And she's crying to me for this and that. And I says, you idiot, I told you those pit bulls are no good.
Now, what happened? Well, what happened to the pit bull? Where's the pit bull now?
Well, the pit bull's going to go down. You know why? Because it had a previous conviction. Because the pit bull, I guess, nicked someone, and then that person went
So it's a repeat offender.
It's a repeat, and yet, after all this mauling, he said, go get the gun. You know, in other words, it mauled her.
Russ, there's no such thing as a bad dog.
Well, not in my world. A pit bull belongs in a junkyard.
Dogs don't kill, people kill.
Dogs, no. These two dogs, these pit bulls, and they were that, and they had that. She says, "Oh, they're
Did they get attacked by both of them?
Huh?
Did they get attacked by both?
They have two pit bulls.
Well, did both pit bulls attack?
No, the female is passive. That's my daughter's dog.
So that dog just sat there and watched.
Yeah, and then I says, "What good is that dog when it didn't defend you?" My German Shepherd would have defended me.
But on the upside, that dog didn't join in. You got to look at the bright side.
Right, laid down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other one's going to get put down. But then here's the liberal. They're freaks. My daughter's like, Dad, you're just everything I say to her.
What part of California do they live in, Russ?
You know.
What part of the California do they live in?
Northern, Sacramento area.
Oh, there you go.
And up in the mountains. And listen to this.
That's a very big marijuana area. Did you know that?
When the dog ripped his arm to shreds, and he can't, from what I hear, they can't, it's an hour to get to, if you call an emergency thing, it takes an hour to get there. Now, if it would have got his artery, God only knows. They tied his arm up, that they went into the emergency, whatever.
Then your daughter would have been looking for a new boyfriend.
I was hoping that both dogs would have ripped each other out, and then she'd come back here, but whatever, that's the deal, you know.
Yeah, okay.
You know, that's a father of, when this whole thing transpired. But I'm just saying, the pit bulls, when I gave her advice, like pit bulls...
German Shepherds, they're efficient.
And they says, it depends, but now she's telling me, Dad, you were right.
Oh, see, there you go. You got a dad, you were right.
So I says, why'd you do that? Because I was a pit bull?
Okay, Bruce, we got to go now. Thank you. I don't think that goes in the uplifting category, does it? See, but I look on the bright side. The one pit bull just sat there and watched. Didn't join in, didn't defend. It just sat there. Because that's good. 591-8900, your pit bull tearing off your arm stories right here on Awake with Jake on WLS. Back after this.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford, 890 AM, WLS.